My name is James. This happened last summer when I was 26. My girlfriend Lily and I had been planning this camping trip for months, just the two of us. No cell service, no distractions. We had been together for about a year and a half at that point. And to be honest, things had started to get a little stagnant between us. Not bad, just routine. We figured a weekend in the woods would be good for us. We chose the URI National Forest in North Carolina as our camping spot. I had spent weeks looking at different areas online. I wanted somewhere not too crowded, but not completely isolated either. I eventually settled on a campground about 3 miles down a Forest Service road. According to the reviews, there were about 6 or 7 total campsites, each spaced pretty far apart. We left Friday afternoon around 3, stopped at a store near the forest entrance to get supplies, and arrived at the campground just before sunset. The road was terrible, potholes, loose gravel, but my truck managed fine. When we pulled into the clearing, I felt pretty good about my choice. There were some picnic tables, a couple of fire rings, and the campsites were tucked back into the trees for privacy. We drove around slowly, checking each spot. Most were empty. One had a blue sedan, but I didn't see anyone around. Lily pointed at the site at the very end of the road, where it disappeared into the forest. It had a nice clearing for the tent, and completely hid the other campsites from view. We spent the next hour setting everything up. Lily is incredibly particular about how things should be arranged, so I mostly just did whatever she said. By the time we were done, it was getting dark. I started the fire while Lily prepared some sandwiches. For a while, everything felt exactly how it should. We drank beer, watched the flames, didn't talk about anything important, just existed together. That was kind of the whole point. Around 10, Lily went to brush her teeth at the spigot near the picnic tables. I stayed by the fire, poking at it with a stick and finishing my beer. That's when I saw someone standing at the edge of our campsite, just past where the firelight reached. I jumped a little because I would have heard someone walk up, and I definitely hadn't. The guy apologized for scaring me and said he was camping over by the blue sedan. He just wanted to introduce himself. His name was Jack, and he looked to be around 30. He had this really intense way of making eye contact. It made me uncomfortable, but I wasn't going to say anything. Lily was walking back, and from her body language alone, I could tell she wasn't thrilled about the interruption. When Jack noticed her, he turned and said she'd picked a good spot, very secluded. He said he was camping alone, trying to get away from people, which was ironic, considering he'd walked right up to our campsite. And the moment Lily returned, I essentially stopped existing. Jack's full attention shifted to her, which wasn't exactly shocking, but still super weird. We talked for a minute or two. Or more accurately, he talked at Lily while she responded with stiff, awkward replies, waiting for him to leave. Eventually, I stepped in and said we needed to sleep because we were getting up early. That finally got him to leave. As he walked away into the darkness, I noticed he didn't use a flashlight, which struck me as odd. Lily and I agreed the whole thing was strange, but we decided to let it go. We stayed up for maybe another hour, then put out the fire and went to bed. I don't remember falling asleep, but I absolutely remember waking up, because the moment I woke up, I felt something was wrong. It took maybe 3 seconds to realize I'd woken up to voices in the distance. It sounded like 2 people talking somewhere near our campsite. I looked over and saw Lily sleeping peacefully, and that's when something protective kicked in. Instead of freezing or hiding in the tent, I felt like I had to check it out. I unzipped the tent as quietly as I could and looked out. The voices stopped immediately, almost like they heard me, and I had been completely silent. I quickly grabbed my phone and shined the flashlight around the site. Whoever had been there was either gone or farther away than I'd thought. After a while, I went back inside and tried to sleep again. It was a public campground, after all. People stay up late on camping trips. I didn't think it was anything dangerous. I just hoped whoever had been talking would take their 3 a.m. conversation somewhere far from where I was trying to sleep. I didn't mention it to Lily the next morning. I didn't want to freak her out. We spent the day hiking, which was fun and honestly a decent workout. Around sunset, I went to grab more firewood from the pile near the truck. That's when I noticed something on the windshield. A napkin folded in half and tucked under the wiper blade. I unfolded it, and it was a note. "You should move your tent." There was no way I could keep this from Lily. I showed her the note and told her about the voices the night before. She took one look at it and said, "Did Jack do this?" "Probably," I said. "Who else would it be?" As we were discussing what to do, clearly both freaked out, Jack showed up, almost on cue. He was wearing the exact same clothes as the day before. Seeing him filled me with a mix of fear and anger. The anger won. I told him he needed to stop just showing up like that, more aggressively than I intended. I was convinced he was behind the note and the voices. I didn't want him thinking he had fooled me. Jack apologized in a gruff tone and said he was just checking on us. Before I could respond, Lily asked why he would feel the need to check on us. And Jack said something that threw me off. He said he didn't want to scare us, but weird things had been known to happen around here. Strange stuff. He claimed he'd found abandoned campsites deep in the woods, signs of people, belongings left behind, unsettling things. He said it so casually that even though I didn't trust him, some part of me wondered if he was telling the truth. He said he'd heard people walking around his car the previous night, so he was ending his trip early and heading home before sunset. He suggested we do the same. We weren't in the mood to argue. Lily definitely didn't want to stay. We started packing. The sun was almost gone, so it was stressful. Lily's hands were shaking as she loaded the truck. I tried to calm her, but I wasn't feeling great either. We finished packing and quietly started to drive out. The sun was nearly gone. As we passed Jack's campsite, I noticed his blue sedan was still there. Jack was crouched by one of the tires. I stopped and asked what he was doing. He stepped aside and revealed a huge slash in the tire. Something clearly done on purpose. Lily muttered, "Oh my God." And I was just as shocked. Jack first asked if we could give him a ride, but Lily whispered, "No, I don't want him in here." So I told him we couldn't. He then asked if we could call the police once we got service. I told him we would. We left the campground and drove down the dirt road, headlights on full blast. We had gone maybe 100 yards when I glanced to the right, and I saw them. 3 figures standing among the trees about 30 meters off the road. They weren't moving. They weren't hiding. It was like they wanted to be seen. I only saw them for a second, but I am absolutely sure they were people. Lily saw them too. My foot instinctively hit the brake. I don't know why. Maybe part of me thought we should warn Jack. Maybe I was trying to process what I saw. But before I could think, Lily grabbed my arm and screamed, "Drive! James, drive!" So I did. Lily didn't say a word until we reached the highway. As soon as I got service, I pulled over and called 911. I told them everything. The dispatcher said they'd send someone to check on him. We never heard anything afterward. I didn't expect to, but I had a horrible feeling. If something really happened to Jack, part of me felt responsible. Lily said he might have been part of it. Maybe he was. Maybe that was just something we told ourselves to cope. Whatever the truth is, I still think about it from time to time.